After sending about 15 million emails, generating about $1 million in ARR and about $1.5 million in digital product sales, and that's just what we can track, because oftentimes with email, there's a halo effect, meaning you get additional sales that you weren't really thinking about getting, which I'll get to here in a moment of why that is. I figured I'd put together this video and just kind of share some of my thoughts. I've been seeing people do these type of videos where they're kind of walking around in a somewhat scenic area. So I figured I'd do the same thing and then just kind of riff and share with you some learnings that I've made along the way, and you can apply them. So my name is Kevin Sanderson, and over the course of the last several years, I have really gotten deep into email marketing. And a lot of times you hear people say, oh, email's dead. You can't really do anything with email anymore. That's not true. Yes, you can get well, depending on what you're talking about, you might get a lot of people to watch your TikToks or your Reels, but that's kind of a fleeting attention. And you're just praying and hoping that the algorithm is kind enough to you to give you more people or more views, more impressions. Whereas with email, especially with warm emails, you got people who have basically raised their hand and said, yes, I would be interested. And so you have the ability to message these people and develop a relationship over time. Because with email, if you think about it, people are going into their email inbox looking for something to do. A lot of people actually view their inbox as a to-do list. Whereas with other mediums like social media, they're just looking to kill time. So yeah, you might get in front of them, but are they going to remember you? Are they going to want to take action on what you're asking them to do? So just some things to think about. Now, we've got the bay here next to me. Pretty, isn't it? I'm walking around. I always kind of wonder when people walk by, like, what are they thinking? So anyway, total side note. But yeah, so once you got people on your list, what do you do with them? So you got to email them things that they're interested in. And, that sounds basic, but then, if you've ever gotten in front of a computer, you're like, what do I even talk about? Hopefully the wind's not too bad here, but you might be thinking, what do I even talk about? And there's just kind of a blank cursor flashing at you. You're like, what do I talk about? How do I go from someone has signed up for my email list to I want to get results at some point? It can't be all buy now. But at the same time too, it can't be all, teach, value. You have to balance the two. Yes, you want to provide value. You want people to want to open your emails. You want them to be curious. Hey, when I open this email, what am I going to learn? What is this going to do to benefit me? What is the net positive of opening your email? But you also want to think about it from the standpoint of as people are opening your emails, eventually you want them to take some sort of action, whether it's to book a call, sign up for something. And so you have to kind of balance the two. So you might be saying to yourself, but what do I talk about? What do I email these people about? Great question. So a couple things you could do. So for example, if you have a YouTube channel, like you're probably watching this on, you could email them, hey, I've got this video, go check it out. You're going to learn X, Y, and Z. One format I have learned that works very well is to just start off with what you would call a hook. So at the beginning, your first sentence's job has one job, or your first sentence is one job, I should say. And that job is to get people to read the next sentence, the next line. And so what you don't want to do is be like, hey, I'm so-and-so. This is what we're talking about. You want to start off something that kind of piques their attention. Kind of like I did at the beginning of this video where I said, I've sent 15 million emails and generated X amount, and talk about the lessons from that. Something like that, something that might make people say, what's this going to be about? And then they decide what it is they're interested in, if they want to continue to read your email or not, or bounce off and go look at something else in their inbox. So you want to keep their attention, because if you think about it, once they've clicked on your email, that's basically what you call a micro conversion, meaning they took a small action and they decided, I'm going to open your email. So now you got their attention, you got that first line, and it's something like, okay, would you like more X with less Y? I mean, this is a basic copywriting formula. More of what they want, less of what they don't want. Would you like more sales with less costs? Would you like to save time with less stress and overwhelm? Something like that. Which usually, if you're in the B2B space, saving time, saving costs, generating sales, those tend to be some major buckets you could work on. Now, if you're in a more B2C space, meaning business to consumer, think about the things your potential readers and audience, or the people on your list, what they would be interested in and what they want to hear about. So from there, once you kind of decide what they're interested in, then you've got your hook, which is your first sentence, which kind of piques their attention. Then you want to, for lack of a better word, stir the pot. You want to, not in a manipulative way, but you want to reinforce, would be probably the way your English teacher would have phrased it growing up. You want to reinforce that the message is a message that they want, that this is something worth listening to, or reading. So that first sentence might be, hey, you're looking for more sales. Then you might, kind of reinforce it a little bit by saying, it can be very difficult to whatever it is you're trying to tell them. So you're kind of empathizing with them a bit. Because as they say, if you can describe the problem better than they can, then you will keep their attention and they'll want to listen to you. So basically you're agitating the problem, as they say in copywriting, and then you're, from there, going to get them to read on. And so then, let's say you have a video and it's talking about a particular topic, and you present your video as the solution to the problem that you just brought up. And then I like to have like a little bit of a call to action for, like, let's say that video. This could also work for a blog post or some other piece of content you want them to read. And then from there, talk about 3 things. If you watch this video, you're going to learn 3 things. So now you're reinforcing why this video, or why this Hi, how's it going? Why this is important. And so it's basically hook their attention, reinforce or agitate the problem, get them to watch by having your call to action, and then tell them you're in the right place because you're going to learn these 3 things, which would basically be solutions of things someone who has the problem that you brought up at the beginning would want to learn. So, hey, would you like more sales from your paid ads, but without having to spend all your time on paid ads, or without wasting money on testing or something like that? And then here, this video is going to show you how, or whatever the case is. Here's 3 things you're going to learn, X, Y, and Z, things that they want. So then you're going to be more likely to get people to watch that video. So if you follow things like that and you do probably at least half your emails with that format, you're putting yourself in a really good position, because now people are wanting to read your emails. So then on occasion, now let's say if you have services and your desire is to get people to book a call, now you want to occasionally get people to book a call. So what can you do to get them to book a call? Well, case studies are always a good thing, because everyone always wonders, like, okay, if I work with this person, what is the case study? So, like, for example, you probably made it all the way through this video because I mentioned in the case study what I've done. So I was my own case study. Now it's more compelling to share other case studies of other people. So you could share the other case studies. And then in those case studies, you mentioned, okay, here's this person. You may have heard of Feel, Felt, Found. They came in, they were concerned about X, Y, and Z. They had these challenges going into it. and then here's the approach we took, and then here's the results they got. So they felt this way. They found that by us working on X, Y, and Z, it helped them. Or felt, found. So you can empathize with, basically, they felt this way. You might feel the same way too. It's kind of going a little bit of a reverse order, feel, felt, found. And then basically here was the result. So if you do that, then you could say, if you'd like us to take a look at your business and see if we can apply those same results, you can do that. So like, for example, I'll throw this out here too. If you'd like me to take a look at your email marketing and see if there's anything I can do to help you, I will have a link down below. You can schedule a free 30-minute strategy session. And this is an actual thing I'm saying, not just a test thing, but I'm throwing this out there. I'm willing to help people. Now, if that's gotten to be too busy, it might be someone else on my team, or I might have taken down that service. But for now, as I record this, it's available. So then from there, you've thrown out some sort of call to action, kind of like I just did there. You could also, in addition to having people book a call because of a case study, you could do something that might overcome objections. And so one thing that was effective for us, that I was writing emails for my Amazon guy, a Amazon agency, was that a lot of people in the Amazon space are very concerned about their account. Because you hear about tech companies shutting people down because they were, having access issues, security reasons. We shut down your account. Like you hear about LinkedIn, like if you let anyone else sign into your LinkedIn account, you're done. So people are very worried about that on Amazon, because on Amazon, it's not just, hey, I lose the attention. They might have, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars worth of inventory, sitting in a warehouse. And so they don't want to lose their account and all of a sudden not be able to generate the sales to be able to, sell that inventory. So it's a very scary thing for people. Well, Amazon actually has something called user permissions. And so we found every now and then, if we just send an email about user permissions, what you're allowed to do, what's going to get your account shut down, it's not everyone has this fear, but it's a big enough fear with let's say maybe even 10% of Amazon sellers. So this might be people who maybe want to work with an agency, but are afraid to, because they're afraid of having someone else access their account, which once they realize it's very normal and Amazon actually has a way for people to do that, then they're more likely to say, okay, well then yeah, I'll go ahead and book a call with these people. So then we have a call to action, book a call, and then that gets people to book the call. So if you think about it, anything you can do to show results, that could be a way to get people to take action. That you have an ability to drive results for people, as well as if you have that ability to, take away some of their concerns and fear. Not take away, but show them that maybe it's less of a concern than maybe they thought it was, or something like that. You don't want to say you're wrong, but just show them the right path. And that tends to work, kind of like what I said with the user permission thing. It's a fear people have, but showing people like, oh yeah, we can do that. And here's how, and here's why. So, and showing third-party resources of like, here's how Amazon sets it up. Here's how you would set up user permissions on your account. Here's how you give people access to certain areas. So, they can't change your banking info, or, other concerns people might have. It's not even necessarily just that Amazon might be not like the fact that someone else is in their account, which Amazon's actually fine with. Or just the fact that, they're afraid someone's going to, steal their money, or, take over access to their account and they can't get back into it. So all things that are valid concerns, but showing them that doesn't have to be that way. So that's one way to get something taken care of. And then anytime, or taken care of, get people to take action the way you want them to. Then If you're selling digital products, one thing I have learned, which I'll kind of close with this, is if you can get people to take action quickly, because with a digital product, you can't touch it. It's not like, you go to the car dealership and you smell the leather, you touch the steering wheel, you take it for a test drive. A digital product, especially like a course or something like that, is something you can't touch. You have to conceptualize. And so it's easy for people just to kind of put off to like, okay, I'll get to that. So if you have anything that's limited time, like bonuses or pricing or bundling things together, and you do that for a limited time, you will find that works like magic. In fact, if you were to say, we've got this, it's, for the next 3 days, you might get a couple people sign up at the beginning. If you email people for 3 days, you might not get anyone the second time you send out, like maybe the second day. And if you send like an email out the morning of the last day, and then maybe again in the afternoon, all of a sudden you'd be like, where were these people hiding? And just, there's people that will take action quickly based on the fact they don't want to lose out. Nobody wants to miss out. So people feel like they might miss out on a deal. They want to take action. Now, if you're going to advertise this deal ends, you want to have the deal end. Now, I've done it before where there was some sort of tech glitch or something, and we extended it, but we explained why. But we also didn't say it's ending now, and then we're just constantly running the same, deal that just shifts every 5 days. You don't want to do that. You don't want to constantly run the same special, otherwise it loses its effectiveness. So you want to make a limited time deal actually limited time. So hopefully that was helpful. If you want me to take a look at your email marketing strategy to see if I can help you, there'll be a link down below. And with that, thank you and best of luck.